Okay, guys, it is 5 o'clock and welcome to our parent meeting for February. I'm excited to be here, finally get to do some work. I've been cooped up at home and I'm excited for this warm weather also. So let's get started. Winter Storm Uri, wow, what a crazy week, right, guys? It was unexpected. We were out of work for a week, out of school for a week. Some people lost power for days and the water for days. So definitely we made some history here in Houston. So let's go ahead and talk about the Boxer Bulletins. Ms. Lyra sends out the Boxer Bulletins every time there's a special event or every time there's an emergency or something needs to be communicated. And she also sends one out regularly on monthly every month. So this one here was the Ice Storm Edition Boxer Bulletin. This newsletter includes important updates provided by HIC regarding what's happening this week, community food and water distribution resources that's going on behalf of HISD. So you could find a list of all the food distribution centers there. And there's also places that you could volunteer or donate if you are willing or can. So please make sure that you look for that email. That email went out to all subscribed parents to the Boxer Bulletin. This is the February Boxer Bulletin. This went out on Wednesday, February 10th. So if you want to look at what Ms. Lyra talked about for the month of February, please look for the February Boxer Bulletin. A few reminders for this week. I know this has been a crazy week, like I said. Let's look at what our schedule is going to look like for starting tomorrow through Friday. So Wednesday, we have asynchronous instruction, so no live meetings. Students are not expected to log in for any live meetings. Students are expected to access all their assignments on the hub. For Thursday, it's an A day and it's an all virtual live lessons. So students are expected to log into their live lessons and it's an A day. Friday is a B day, again, all virtual, no face-to-face on Thursday and Friday, and all students are expected to log in into their live lessons. Let's talk about something very important, our failure rates. Failure rates have been significantly higher than in past years. As a result, a lot of students were placed on growth plans, and I'll talk about what growth plans are later in this presentation. Report cards for those parents who have a Parent Connect account, they have been made available to you. Please make sure you check it out. But I just want to let you know that there have been some mistakes that were printed on those report cards. It's a district-wide issue. We're trying to figure out when the new ones and the updated report cards will be uploaded. And of course, Ms. Lyra will give you an update on that date. So growth plans. What are growth plans? So growth plans are when students are failing more than one class or two consecutive more than one class. I'm sorry, this is my first time doing this, so I'm a little bit nervous, so bear with me. I'm sorry, guys. So again, what are growth plans? Growth plans are for students who are failing one or more than one classes for 2 consecutive 6 weeks. They are automatically placed on a growth plan. So what the growth plan is basically like a contract between the administrator and the student, and we work out a plan and we say, here are some things that you are going to do so you can improve your grades. And we offer all that support like tutorials. We make sure you check in with you. And then mid-March, we look at your growth plan and we look at your grades and see if you've made any improvements in your grades, attendance, and behavior all goes into that. Mid-March, a committee gets together. If you have made improvements, then you are good to go. If you have not made any improvements, then the committee may decide to revoke your transfer back to Eastwood for the next school year. Something that you want to keep in mind when you're looking at your report card grades is whole course credit. Now, whole course credit, Ms. Lear talked about in her daily announcements. It is basically, if I get a 66 my first semester, I failed. But I am on a growth plan and I want to make sure that I stay here at Eastwood. I am going to give it my all. All I have to do is make sure that I get a 76 so I could get 140 points. If I get 140 points between semester A and semester B, guess what? You get credit for both semesters. So let you look at an example right now. So here's an example. Semester 1 grade equals a 66. Semester 2 grade is a 74. If you get a total of 140 points, you've received credit for both semesters and you're good to go. If you're on a growth plan and you want to show growth, this is the best way to show growth, making sure that you are striving to pass your classes and making 140 points and receiving credit for both semesters is going to look good when the committee reviews your grades if you are placed on a growth plan. Any questions that we might have? Ms. Varela, do we have any questions?
No, I already addressed them in the chat.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move on. TEA letters. So some of you guys, especially the kids that have been placed on growth plans, have received TEA letters. They were sent out via mail and via email. I'm going to explain what those are in just a bit. So basically what TA said, they stated that for students that are failing one or more classes, they gave Eastwood schools the authority to discontinue virtual learning. So those letters, again, have been placed in the mail and have been also sent via email. Now, if you disagree with us discontinuing the remote learning, there's two ways that you could appeal, and that is by submitting a medical exemption. This exemption was sent in the letter and was also attached in that email that I sent. And it's basically a letter that requires a doctor's signature certifying that your child or there's another individual in the household has a higher risk medical condition. And so they sign that paperwork, you scan it and you send it to me, or you take a picture and you send it to me. I've provided my email address there, and it's despinal@houstonisd.org. But if you want to talk about it and you want to appeal you could do it by setting up a meeting. You could call the front office and set up a meeting with the designated administrator. Ms. Varela is the administrator for the bottom half of the alphabet, which is M through Z. And I am the administrator for the first half of the alphabet, which is A through L. So if you want to set up a meeting, and it's called a transition meeting, we could discuss what coming back to Eastwood could look like. If you have received one of these letters, and you should set up that meeting again with the front office. Any questions? Okay. So COVID cases, please, guys, we encourage you and we want you to report all COVID cases via email to Ms. Lira. Ms. Lira has to report them to the district, so she has to know exactly how many cases we have at school. So please make sure that you keep her in the loop and you inform her if you have COVID. Now, I want to go ahead and let a special guest talk. His name is Kelsey Griffin, and he is with One Goal. He's going to tell you a little bit more about One Goal is, but One Goal is a program that we offer at Eastwood Academy. It is a phenomenal program. He's going to tell you a little bit more about it, but I'm going to go ahead and let him take over now. His name is Kelsey Griffin.
All right. Thank you so much for the introduction, and Eastwood Academy team, thank you so much for allowing me to have the time to come in and speak a little bit to your parents and students about what One Goal graduation offers. So my name is Kelsey Griffin. I am the Director of Campus Support for One Goal Graduation Houston. and really look forward to being able to spend a little bit of time with you this evening. I wanted to start off just talking to you a little bit about what the program offers, and then we'll get into some of the specifics a little bit later. I promise you, this won't be a time that you just sit and get. This will definitely be a time where we want it to be interactive. We're going to play a few games, and then I'll be here to answer any questions that you have about our program. So, we know one of the things that is going on in our nation is that there's a huge degree divide. And we want to take steps to shrink that divide. We just want to make sure that we're preparing students for post when they graduate. We want to make sure that they're ready to matriculate into college or some type of certification program. And we have the resources to make that transition a lot more simple than it has been in the past. So our program is a 3-year program. We start in the junior year, and then we go into the 12th grade year, and we finish the first year of college. So we can go to the next slide. During this time, I really want to encourage people to interact via chat. We will go ahead and we'll go to the next slide and we'll begin. So this presentation is geared towards students, but I'm so glad that there are parents on here. If for this particular game, I'm going to ask that you please visualize thinking that you are your child, or these are things that you would like for your child to be in 3 years. So this is a quick little game that we'll do. For this game, I'm going to ask you guys to please close your eyes. Of course, this is the honor system. I can't see you. But if you could close your eyes, please, and think about 3 years from now. This is for my students. Think about where you want to be 3 years from now. Parents, please think about where you want your students to be 3 years from now. What will you be working on? What accomplishments will you have already achieved? Will you be in college? Will you be working? Both? How old will you be? Those are some thoughts. What are some things you'll be working on? What will you have already accomplished? Now that we have this growth mindset going, I would love for you to put into the chat some of the answers to these questions. So if you want to type into the chat, how old will you be 3 years from now? Will you be in college 3 years from now? Would you want your child in college 3 years from now? Will you be working? Take a few more seconds. Feel free to interact in the chat, or if you want to hop onto the mic, feel free to do that as well. Okay, all right. Melissa, thank you for interacting. Great school. All right. I hope so too, Ms. Gonzalez. All right, so I just wanted to get you guys thinking. Thank you guys for participating in that. You'll see where it all comes into play a little bit later. 3 years from now, I'll be 19. See myself in college with a part-time job. So I had a part-time job throughout my entire college career. Great job, Andrea. And if we think about it, if we dream it, we can make sure that we will it into existence. So, and we want to be here to support you with that. So thank you guys for participating in that little activity. We can actually go to the next slide. So I wanted to put some data in front of you. This data, it just kind of gives us an understanding, and another one here in college for sure, hopefully with a part-time job as well. Awesome. There are so many different ways that we can help you one goal, and not just, I'm going to take a quick break. There are a lot of different programs like One Goal. Of course, I advocate for One Goal graduation, and you're going to hear One Goal come out of my mouth a lot during this presentation. But if you're not interested in One Goal, please just seek out some type of support to help you with the transition because there are so many different barriers, and we don't want those barriers to keep you from meeting your full potential. So, whatever you do, just try to make sure that you're finding some type of support to help you get from high school into a successful career into college or certification program. I just wanted to stop and make that quick caveat. So the data that I have in front of you is national data, and it's based on averages. Now, there are different things that are taken into consideration. Of course, geographic location has a lot to do with this. If you are talking about San Francisco or Washington, D.C., the cost of living is much higher there. So, of course, they're going to pay a little bit more. If you're talking about rural Arkansas or rural areas, the cost of living might be a lot lower and they might not pay as much. So, all of these things are taken into consideration. Also, additional certifications might be taken into consideration when we're talking about the amount of money that is being paid based on the amount of education that you have. So as we see, the trend that I want you to see is the national average less than high school diploma. The national average is 30,784. As we get up to an associate degree, you can see a jump up to 46,124. And as we continue to go up to professional and doctorate degrees, the average just continues to increase. So I wanted to just kind of put that data in front of you before we get into some of the other parts of this presentation. Okay, we can go to the next slide. All right, so we're going to do another quick little. This is going to be something that you guys can kind of get active with, and we'll talk about. I want you to guess the salary of some professions. And one of the best professions in the world is a teacher. I taught for 13 years in Spring ISD and Humble ISD, and I have so much respect for that profession. I want you to, in the chat, I want you to try to guess what a teacher makes the first year. What do you think a teacher's salary is their first year of teaching? 55,000, 35,000, okay. 55,000, 46,000. All right. Yes. Thank you so much for doing that. Can we, another 55? Can we go to the next slide? So it looks like a lot of people were really, really close. So $55,335. It generally takes a 4-year degree to become a teacher, and then a lot of people go into certification programs while they're teaching their first year. So that's where we are as far as like the teacher. You guys are good at this. So let's talk a little bit about a financial analyst. So a financial analyst, what they do is they help people make money. They study your current state of your finances and they try to help you grow your finances. So what are you thinking a financial analyst starts off with? What do you think? What type of salary do you think they start off with? Just put that in the chat. 65,000. 65, okay. So let's go ahead and see what another 65. Let's see what the financial analyst makes. Let's go to the next slide. 73,000. So the cool thing about a financial analyst, some people are able to get into that career with a through a certification path. Some people are able, they major in finance and they continue working on different degrees and then they become a financial analyst. But you can see that there is it's a really nice living for a teacher and a financial analyst. I just want you to see the differences. And that's one thing that we take into consideration when we try to start looking at majors in college. That's going to be huge for you. Money doesn't buy happiness, and I'll be the first one to say that. But I do think that money is something that we want to consider when we're pursuing a major and when we're pursuing a career, because that's a huge decision. So let's go ahead and go to let's do the graphic designer. What do you think a graphic designer would make per year? Graphic designers, they design beautiful buildings. They're into drafting. They have to know scale. It's a fun job from what I hear, but it can definitely be stressful because I know they work on different deadlines. So what do you think a graphic designer starts off with per year? We can put that in the chat. This will be the last one that we guess. 110,000. Okay, thank you, Melissa. 110, another 89,000, 70,000. Okay. All right, let's see what the graphic designer makes. 50,000. So if you enjoy what you're doing, what you're doing as far as your career, this is just my opinion. I really don't think the money is going to be the biggest part. It's all about going to work, doing what you're good at and something that you've really focused on. But we want to know how much money it is. So we can go ahead and do the next two. We'll unveil those two. I just wanted to, so software developer, that's going to be some of the people that are creating the apps that we interact on. They create those different things and they love tech. So business consultant, 89,000. So these are things that we introduce to students during our course. We want you to know what type of positions you're able to apply for after you have identified a major course of study. So that I think that's important. Next slide, please. So this one is just going to kind of talk a little bit about trades. We also have a component of our program that focuses on workforce development. We really push second, 2-year colleges and 4-year colleges. We really push 4-year colleges, and we want people to meet their full potential with whatever they want to do. But we want to expose people to 4-year colleges and 2-year. But we also have options for some people that might not be their path. So we also have options of workforce development. So within workforce development, the salaries that you're seeing here are really good salaries. They're salaries without any type of certification, and these are also national averages. So what I wanted to show you is that with certification programs that might last anywhere from 6 months to 9 months to 12 months, you can really increase your earning potential. So if we go to the next slide, you'll be able to kind of see a pattern of how much of a difference as far as the national average goes that you can make with a certification versus without having a certification. So I'll just kind of let that stay there for about 30 seconds or so. Okay, we can go to the next slide. So I know you're probably asking at this point, what does that have to do with One Goal? Okay, we're learning a lot of things about salary, about different jobs, but how can One Goal support my post-secondary aspirations? So I want to spend some time with that now. We can go to the next slide. One Goal is, like I was saying earlier, it's a 3-year program. It's designed to support a group of 20 to 25 students. It's really for the program directors that I talk in program. We call the people that teach One Goal. We call them program directors. The students that are in the One Goal program, we call them fellows. It's just a terminology thing that we use. We try to make this into like a family. So the cohorts, they stay together. When you are in your first year, we call that the Y1. That would be your junior year with One Goal. You work your way up from your junior year into your second year with the same group of students. A lot of times you have the same teacher as well. So we really try to create that family environment. And when we create the family environment, I think that some of the anxieties are lowered, and we're really able to identify some root causes that might help us move, that might help make it a little bit easier for us to move to the next level. So it is a credit-bearing, grade-carrying class. It's taught on campus, taught by a Eastwood teacher. Currently, Mr. Dean is the senior teacher, the Y2 teacher, and Miss Michelle is the Y1 teacher, teaching the juniors. So we can go to the next slide. So we'll talk a little bit about Y1. So our junior year. What we're trying to do in our junior year is giving you a foundation that would make you successful in your collegiate career. So during this year, we're not just focused on getting you enrolled, we're focused on persistence and some of the things that you need to learn to be able to persist. So some of those things are building community. When you go off to college, sometimes you don't know how important it is to build a community. Some people are really used to being in one community and it's a little different. So we teach different things about trusting people. We teach things about your own identity. What type of identities are you interested in learning about? So all of these foundational things are what you're going to learn in your Y1 year. You're also going to build a list of 5 to 7 colleges that fit you. And when I say fit you, I mean they fit your current GPA, SAT. So these are you're going to identify schools that you can get into if you had to apply your junior year. Of course, you're not applying your junior year. We also identify your personal characteristics. How far away from Houston do you want to be? Do you want to be in Houston? Do you want to go to a historically some type of historic institution, brick and mortar institution? Do you want to go to a virtual institution? We just try to figure out as many things about what you want, and we have tools to be able to identify schools that will support you. So that's what we do your first year. Your senior year is a busy year, but it's a fun year. You're going through a lot of different benchmarks during that year. So you have a lot of things that we have a pacing calendar, and we have a lot of things that we want you to try to get done that particular year. There's still curriculum where we're teaching you about different things, but we're really giving you space to apply for financial aid. We're giving you space to apply for different colleges that you have identified on your best fit list from your junior year, or if you want to add different colleges. We're giving you space to apply for scholarships, and your program director is right there with you, providing one-on-ones. Your director of campus support, which would be me, right there with you. So we're providing that support. When you start getting award letters, we're able to help you identify the good and the bad on the award letters. All awards are not good awards. So we identify those things. If you're flagged for financial aid verification, that means if the school wants to know more about you from your FAFSA, we're here to support you with those things. So that's what your Y2 is about. And then it ends up with a celebration. So we celebrate all those efforts. Your Y3 year is going to be your first year in college, and that's a great year. So you're off on your own, it's to some extent, on your college of choice, and you're still going to have a one goal support figure there. They're not going to be right there on campus, but you're going to have access to them, and they'll have access to you. We have a pilot program that's rolling out that we're working on now, where we're actually going to have a Y4 program that's there to support the Y3. So there will be students that are sophomores, they've already gotten through their first year of college, and that will just be an additional support for you. So kind of like a peer counselor. So that's going to be another resource that's going to be there for you. So I want to stop here, and I just want to take any questions that you might have about year one, year two, year three. Okay. All right. So this is a testimonial from a student that was at Northbrook High School, and they went through the One Goal program. I just want to read through this with you. So One Goal has guided me into my future. Before joining One Goal, I had no idea what I was going to do to get into college and how I was going to pay for it. One Goal has answered many questions for me and my parents, and it has helped us to not struggle with this topic. I've met many good people in One Goal that are willing to help me get to where I want to get. Thanks to get this, Thanks to this class and my teacher, I'm 100% ready to get out of high school. So this is a testimonial that we hear just numerous times, okay, from different students as far as the support that they receive. So I'm going to ask you to go to the next slide, I think. Yeah, I just wanted to, so are there any questions that we have about the One Goal program as a whole? Are there any, not just about the years, but anything dealing with One Goal? Okay. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next slide. Okay, okay, so yes, it is an elective. Great question. It would count as one of your electives. Any other questions? How are students? Okay, good. So great question. As far as the students that are chosen, what we usually do on a lot of the bigger camp on a lot of the larger campuses, we really focus in on the second and third quartile, and we focus on trying to identify students that would get the biggest bang for their buck. So what this particular meeting is for is to just identify anyone that is actually interested in what they've seen tonight. And what I'm going to do is put a link in the chat. And this link is a survey that will allow you to sign up for the course. And it'll let us know that you're interested in taking the course next year. So great question. What we'll do is talk a little bit about the process. The first thing that you would do is fill out, and I'm so sorry, the date on here is wrong. We'll please ask that this is submitted by this Friday, this particular Friday coming up. But you would fill out the survey, and then you would let us know that you're interested by filling out the survey. After that, you would talk to a guidance counselor. And I would ask, is Miss Stanley on? I think, or someone from one of the counselors might be able to give a little bit more information.
I don't think she's on, but
Okay.
But we could work out a plan with Miss Stanley, and then she could send out a mass email to all the 10th graders.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Yes, you would share this information with your friends and family, about something that you're interested in doing, of course. Miss Stanley would be a in-campus support person to help you, move along. But the first step would be to go ahead and fill out the survey, just to kind of let us know that you are definitely interested in joining the program. Are there any other? I think that really kind of takes care of the majority of what I wanted to cover tonight, unless there are any other questions about, about the program. Survey due date. Thank you. So, yes, if we can have the survey done by Friday, that would be great. All right. Well, that does it for me. I really appreciate the time, and I am always available. I'm going to actually put my income is not a factor at all. That's a great question. No, income is not a factor. I'm going to put my email in the chat as well. So if you have any additional questions, feel free to shoot me an email, and I'll respond and help you through the process with whatever I can help you out with. But income is definitely not a factor for our program. All right. Well, thank you all so much, and I look forward to hearing from anyone that's interested. And if there are any other questions, outside, whatever it is, dealing with college access, feel free to shoot me an email. Be glad to help out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Guys. That's it. We're done. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you, Mr. Griffin.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for all your support via, intercepting the emails and all those things.
No problem.
All right.
I'll reach out to you and set up a plan with Miss Stanley, and then we'll let you know.
Okay, sounds good. Thank
Okay.
you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.